Yeah, so I mean, I'm not unlike any other musician. We all just take gigs, you know, and we work with different people. So when I started going out in jazz, though, well, not even jazz. Let's say just R&B and soul and things like that. My first gig was with Chandler, who was with the Duke of Earl, right? So that was my first road gig that I ever was on the road. And from there on, you know, I would be playing with the OJs, playing Rawls, playing just any groups that had horns, you know. And also shows. They would do shows like at places like Starwood Plaza, and they would hire musicians to come in and be in the pit band and that type of thing. So I did all of those type of working gigs that musicians did, you know, before actually getting into jazz, where Clark Terry was the one that got me into the jazz world, because he would take me to his band camps and he would recommend me for gigs. And, you know, that's a different kind of story. So with Clark, I told Clark no for like probably 10 years. And the reason is because I was playing with my pastor in church, and we were traveling all the time. You know, we were doing revivals all over the country. So that was playing in clubs and things like that. It was just not for me at that time. And Clark would always call me up, and he called me Trees because I was tall. And he would say, Trees, you still doing your church thing? And I said, yeah. So then finally when I got to Nashville, it was about 10 years later, he had called me for this group with Nicholas Payton, Ryan Kaiser, Greg Gisbert, and myself, Clark Terry and his four tempestuous trumpets. And then I took the gig, and that was when I finally went on the road, you know, with him. But before that, I was always attending his band camps and studying with him, you know.
All right. Talk about some of the other notable jazz cats that you were able to tour with and perform with.
Well, I mean, you know, probably the next biggest influence, I love playing with Rosemary Clooney. It was a real melodic type of learning from playing with her. I love playing with Max Roach, which is like two ends of the spectrum. Max's thing, when I think about Max, I just think about, you know, warriors in music. You know, he just had that warrior mentality. When we hit the stand, we're gonna play. And another interesting thing too, let me tell you this, is that with Max, I told Max no for like 3 years. This time, though, the reason I told him no was because I was like, Max, man, you got a ton of smoking trumpet players in New York. Why am I doing this gig? So I didn't feel worthy. You know, you're talking about Booker Little, Freddie Hubbard, all these cats that played with him, and I was just like, I'm not doing that. So finally, Max came to Fisk University, and he asked me to come out and see him, and we were in the parking lot talking. And he was like, you know, I want you to, you know, be in this band. So finally, I said, okay, Max, I'll do it, you know, because now I'm feeling like I'm being disrespectful, you know, because this is Max Roach, you know. But I just really felt so unworthy to be in that band, and that's why I told him no for those 3 years.
All right, talk about some of your favorite composers, and this can be across all genres, you know, composers slash songwriters.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I have many. Okay, Yvonne Lenz, I love his music. Stevie Wonder, I love his music. Alison Krauss, the bluegrass singer, I love her compositions. Wayne Shorter, I love Wayne's, you know, compositions. It's just so many. And even when we think about, sometimes we don't think about, you know, like when I was growing up and we had groups like Heatwave and the Stylistics, the Delphonics, you know, the Meters. Sometimes we tend to take them out of the equation of like serious composers. But they were composing music, you know, that led, you know, I don't know, it led ways of thinking. So these were strong composers, you know, that were speaking from life experience and stuff like that. So I just kind of, you know, I love it all. I love Olivia Newton-John's music, Santana's music, Buddy Miles' music. It's just so much, yeah.
Oh yeah.